And he been doing a pretty good job, ain't he? Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. Second? Oh, yeah, it is 2 Peter. I apologize. I might mess up on purpose today since I ain't supposed to be up here. Second Peter chapter 2, excuse me, and verse 4. Second Peter 2 and 4. Go ahead and read it, brother.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell.
Look what happened. These angels sinned. What is sin?
Transgression of
That's
the law.
right. It's a transgression of law. So in heaven, it must be laws, right? Because you can't sin if there ain't no law. So they broke the laws of God, and they got cast out of heaven. So how is it that we're going to break the laws of God and go to heaven? How does that work? That's just something to think about right there. Especially, I mean, I ain't talking to the false prophets because they already know. I'm talking to the ones that are sitting under the false prophet. If the angels that sin got cast out of heaven, how are you going to heaven and you keep sinning? You say it's okay to sin. That make God sound like a schizophrenic or something like that. Like he can't get his thoughts together. That's your God, Satan, that tell you that stuff, though. Start that verse over, brother.
For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment.
So they reserved unto judgment. They under chains of darkness. So we can't see them with the naked eye, with the natural eye, but they here. But they cast down to hell. This earth is what's called hell. Said, look, but they reserved unto judgment. Go ahead and read.
And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
So now, he even destroyed the world of the ungodly because of sin. But then you're going to commit sin and you going to heaven. Satan keeps trying to get back there. He can't make it. And you going the same place your God going. Because your God is Satan. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 3. First Peter chapter 3, and we're going to pick this up at verse 18. 1 Peter 3 and verse 18. What do he say?
For Christ also have once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust.
See, Christ was just, but he suffered for the unjust. Go ahead.
That he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. By which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison.
So now, people say, who was these spirits in prison? The ones that he cast down to hell, the ones that he cast down to this earth. He talked to them. Even when he came in the flesh. And he was casting out devils from this man, and they said, well, look, where should we go? Say, because we are many. They was called legion. Say, we are many. He said, y'all can go into them herd of swine. Guess what the swine did, though? When them evil angels went into the herd of swine, them swine was like, They went and they ran and jumped over a cliff and killed themselves. Even the pigs didn't want to have nothing to do with Satan and his angels. But go ahead, brother.
20. Which sometimes were disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah. So
now we're talking in the days of Noah when he was bringing in the flood, because these evil angels was among them. That's how the evil was perpetuated because the evil angels is down here, and they working. So he not only is he reserving them for the lake of fire, but everybody that followed him, they reserved for the lake of fire too. But see, the Lord don't have no pleasure that the wicked should die, that the wicked should perish the second death. He don't have no pleasure in that because ain't no getting out of that. So he keeps trying to warn you and keep trying to turn you back to the Lord. You finished that, right?
No.
Go ahead and finish.
While the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water.
So now, he destroyed, he killed everybody else with this flood, but he kept 8 people alive. Because this is how the Lord killed the old world. That's why you get baptized, because the old person got to die, so the new person can come up and live in newness of life. So when they got off that ark, it was a whole new world. It wasn't no different earth or nothing like that, but all them evil and wicked people was gone, and it was a whole new world. Now, walk in newness of life. Walk like Adam and Eve was supposed to walk in the beginning. This was Noah and his family. Let's move on. Hold your place right here, though. We're coming right back. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1. Because this is the thing. This identifies these angels. Chapter 1 and verse 6. Chapter 1, Hebrews chapter 1, and we're going to begin at verse 6. Go ahead, brother.
And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten into the world, he said, and let all the angels of God worship him. Mm-hmm. And all the angels, he said, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire.
So when he brought the first begotten into the world, this is talking about Jesus the Christ, he said, let all the angels worship him. See, because the angels, they are not God, but they have to worship God. Say, but they all what? What was that last verse? Verse 7?
Yeah.
Read it.
And of the angels he said, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire.
So now we see that they spit in their flame of fire. Skip down to verse 13. Go ahead.
But to which of the angels he said at any time.
But unto which of the angels said he at any time, go ahead.
Sit on my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
See, this is the problem Satan got. Because he don't get to sit on the Lord's right hand. The world not going to be made his footstool. But he said this to his son. Sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies that footstool. He ain't said it to none of the angels. Go ahead.
Are they not all ministering spirits?
This is what they are. We talking about the angels. They are all minister in spirit. That minister means servant. So they all serve in spirits. Who are they supposed to serve? They supposed to serve God. Who gonna become God? Those of us who are blessed. We gonna become God. In the Psalms he said, I said ye are gods, and you all children of the Most High. Then he said, but you're gonna die like men and fall like one of the princes, because the princes talking about the angels got cast down to hell, which is earth, and then going into the lake of fire. He said, you're going to get what they get. Because you could be God, but you want to live in iniquity, you're going to fall like one of the princes. And I'm going to kill you like man died. You know, because he didn't create man to die, but he said, you're going to die like men. You finish that?
No.
Go ahead, brother.
Sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation.
So now we see exactly who they sent forth to minister unto or to serve. Those who are heirs of salvation. Let's talk about us that's blessed enough. Those of us that's walking, those of us that put on the whole armor of God, they are ministering spirits sent forth to minister unto us. Even Satan. But he thought, since he was the light bearer, and he was perfect in beauty and all this stuff, that he ain't got to do this. But God said, you're going to serve me and all my children. Satan had a problem with that, or still has a problem with that. I said, hold the place, and I lost mine. Let's go back to 1 Peter. This time, chapter 5. And verse 6. So since he don't want to minister unto you, he gonna be something else to you. 1 Peter 5 and verse 6. What do he say?
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you.
Go ahead.
Be sober, be vigilant.
So you got to be sober. That means spiritually be sober, be vigilant. That means you got to be steadfast in his word. You got to keep on fighting. You got to put that armor on. Go ahead.
Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
So he your adversary or your enemy. So he walking about seeking. He looking for whom he may devour. Because he don't want to be a minister unto us. He don't want to serve us. So he's seeking out who among us he can devour. So we got to beware. We got to pay attention to what's going on around us. Who around us? What's around? We got to pay attention. Because Satan is going about, and not just Satan. He got 1/3 of the angels got cast out with him. They seeking whom they may devour. So we got to be prudent. We got to be vigilant. Let's continue. Let's go into Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2. Because since he's going about seeking whom he may devour, he can't devour the righteous because they're going to continue to be righteous. So who is it that he can devour? Ephesians chapter 2, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 1. Come on.
And you have he quickened. You were dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air.
So now he said, in time past, you walked in the course of this world according to the prince of the power of the air. That's talking about Satan. So you walk, he said in past times you walk like everybody else walked, after Satan. Go ahead.
The spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
See, it's that same spirit that Satan brings. That's that same spirit which is Satan, who worketh in the children of disobedience. Because this is who they are following. They following Satan. But see, they made it themselves available to be devoured because they are children of disobedience. So he see that disobedience, he heading straight for you. Like those angels that he deceived in heaven who got cast out with him. He seen something to them. He said, I can get to these. And he went right for the ones he could get to. So he going to take the easy prey first. It's like you see a lion hunting, and you got a gazelle, and then you got a zebra, where the gazelle run fast and the zebra right. So the zebra is dinner. I get the gazelle later. He going to take the easy prey. Then he going to try to catch the hard prey. You finish that?
Verse 3.
Verse 3, go ahead.
Among whom also we all had our conversation in times past in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others.
So we were the children of wrath as others. But now we start to follow after God. Because, we all has fallen short of the glory of God. But now we have the opportunity, through this teaching, we have the opportunity to come out of that and to walk in righteousness. We have the opportunity to put on the helmet of salvation and put on the whole armor of God. We have that opportunity now through the word of God. Let's go into Genesis, the 4th chapter. Genesis chapter 4. See, a lot of people want to have you think that this walk is easy. There ain't nothing easy about this walk. I mean when I was a shorty, meaning when I first came into the word, and I said to the brother that brought me in, I said, oh man, you know, this ain't no big thing. All you got to do is keep God's commandments. He said, brother, it's much harder than just saying it. I was like, well, I thought it was, you know, like, look, it don't seem like no big deal to me. He was like, you'll see. He certainly was correct. I found that when you serve in God, Satan is ever present. He's seeking whom he may devour. He know what you like. He know your desires. It don't matter if you're naughty or nice. He's going to try to get you anyway. Genesis chapter 4, I said, right? Yeah. We're going to pick this up at verse 1. Because, see, this same spirit working in children of disobedience, right? Let's look at them. Let's start at verse 1. Genesis 4 and verse 1. All right, come on, brother.
And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. Mm-hmm. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord.
Now Cain brought the offering of the ground to the Lord, right? Because you gotta make offering to the Lord. So he brought the fruit of the ground. Go ahead.
And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock.
But now Abel brought the best that he had. Cain just went and got something. But Abel brought the best that he had. Go ahead.
And of the fat thereof. Mm-hmm. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. So
he's saying Abel put forth the effort and gave the Lord what it is that he got coming, which is your best. The Lord got your best coming. You don't just get the Lord anything. Well, you know, I tried. That's the best I could do. Now, you could have did better than that. You just don't want to do better. So you can't bring that to the Lord. He is God. He is the one that had Satan kicked out of heaven. Now, and reserve him for the lake of fire. Now, imagine what he could do to you. You better offer him your best. So this is what Cain did. I mean, what Abel did, Abel offered the Lord his best. Go ahead and read.
But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. Mm-hmm. And Cain was very wroth.
So now Cain was angry because the Lord had respect unto Abel's offering, but not unto Cain's. Say, ain't I your child too? Yeah, you can be my child, but you know you got to do what my children do. You got to obey me. Go ahead.
And his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? Mm-hmm. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
She said, look, if you do well, won't you be accepted just like your brother did well and he was accepted? You do well. That's all you got to do is do well. Bring me your best. Give me your best effort, and you will be accepted. Come on.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. Mm-hmm. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him.
So, and unto sin shall be your desire. But sin going to rule over you. So look, either you do well or you don't. But if you don't do well, sin is waiting right there at the door. Because Satan is seeking whom he may devour. Been doing it from Jump Street. He ain't just starting this day. He did it from Jump Street. Who he getting in the Garden of Eden? The weak link, which was Eve. Then the other weak link, which was Cain. Because Cain, he didn't want to do well. He didn't want to give his best effort. But Abel did. So he's seen right there, I see the one I can get now. I can get Cain. I can get him. Go ahead and read.
And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against his brother, against Abel his brother, and slew him.
So now Cain ended up murdering his brother because sin was waiting right there for him because he was a child of disobedience. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I know not.
So then first he murdered his brother, then he lied about it. These are things that got Satan kicked out of heaven. He doing the same thing Satan did. Murdered his brother, then he lied about it. Go ahead.
Am I my brother's keeper?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground.
See, blood don't talk, but he's saying, look, I done read your mind, boy. I know what you've done. Because he's talking to God. So I know what you've done. He said, it's like your brother's blood is crying unto me from the ground. You murdered your brother. And you gonna lie to me about it and then try to deceive me? Am I my brother's keeper? I don't know where he at. He ain't my problem. Trying to throw some deception in there. Forgot he was talking to God, right? The one that searched the recesses of your mind, that know the inception of your every thought. And you're gonna try to deceive him? Go ahead.
And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand.
Go ahead.
When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
Say, look, you're going to be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth because you murdered your brother and you lied about it and you tried to deceive me. He said, but I warned you. If you don't do well, sin is lying at the door. It is waiting for you. Satan is waiting because he's seeking whom he may devour. He is waiting. All it takes is one slip. But see, the righteous man can fall 7 times and rise again. But the wicked, they fall and they love it. They stay down there in the mud. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, we're going to pick this up. We're just going to read a couple of verses here. So chapter 2, and y'all still turning pages. What's going on? And we're going to pick it up at verse 11. Chapter 2 and verse 11. Okay, brother, go ahead.
And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
See, this is what he'll do to you. He'll send you a strong delusion that you can't get away from that lie that you believe in. Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
He said that they all may be damned. That means the lake of fire. That who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. Did you finish that?
Yeah.
See, these are the children of disobedience. He said that he'll give them a strong delusion that they can't get right. So this is what you want to do? I'm going to make it so you can't stop doing it. Let's go into Romans chapter 1. Let's look at some of the effects of this strong delusion that he'll send you. Because, see, the Lord ain't nobody to play with. When he say he'll send you a strong delusion, it could be very bad. Very bad. I ride the bus. I see people out there all the time. They be trying to talk about the word of God, but that strong delusion be on them so tough that they can't get it right. They can't. Hey man, like they talking about the trumpets and all that and the vials of wrath, but they can't get it right. Then I try to straighten them out on it, and they looking at me with their forehead all wrinkled up like, huh? It said right here, man. I just can't see it. Okay. It's cool. Then they want to talk to somebody about it. You need to shut up, partner. But Romans 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Romans 1 and verse 18. Because he said he has sent you a strong delusion that you may believe a lie, right? That you may be damned. Verse 18, though. Go ahead and read.
For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against the ungodliness and the unrighteousness of men.
So these are children of disobedience. Said the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against these people. Go ahead.
Who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath shown it unto them.
See, God showed it unto these people. They know what's up. That's why I don't have no qualms about calling them out, because they know what's up. And a lot of their parishioners know what's up too. Go ahead.
For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead.
So they even understand the Godhead is clearly seen unto them. The Lord has revealed it unto them. They know about it. But then they want to bring you the Trinity. There ain't no Trinity. It was Jesus and Jehovah. Now it's Jesus and Jesus. There ain't no Trinity. Go ahead.
So that they are without excuse.
But they don't have no excuse. Come on.
Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God.
So they did the same thing Cain did. When they knew God, they glorified him. Not they didn't give him his propers. Go ahead.
Neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations.
So it sounds like the same thing Satan did, huh? Became vain in his imagination. Go ahead.
And their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
See, they professing themselves to be wise, but in the eyes of God, they became fools. Because they knew God, but they didn't want to honor him as God. Now they've opened the door to the lake of fire for themselves. Only a fool will do that. Come on, what verse?
23.
Come on.
And changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things.
See, look, they worship everything as God but the true and living God. They got all kind of idols, even creeping things. All kind of idols. Like I always say about this guy I used to work with, how he had his idol, he had his shoulder cut open so he could put his idol inside of him, so his idol could be with him all the time. I was like, man, you must be crazy. He was trying to convince me, no, see, my God is always with me. Boy, that thing gonna corrupt inside your body, you're gonna have to cut that arm off of you. The madness, when you following after Satan, the madness that you deal with, homosexuality, that's madness. Ain't no sane person doing that kind of stuff. Go ahead and read, brother.
Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts.
Say, look, he going to give you what you've been looking for. I'm going to give you up to uncleanness through the lust of your own heart. Go ahead.
To dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Who changed the truth of God into a lie.
Now we know who he's talking about, right? The ones that change the truth of God into a lie. These your preachers and your ministers and those people that call themselves holy and reverend, but those names belong to God. Go ahead.
And worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen.
Come on.
For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections.
Vile affections. Let's read about these vile affections. Go ahead.
For even their woman did change the natural use into that which is against nature. It's against nature.
She changed that natural use into that which is against nature, right? Go ahead.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman.
They ain't want to deal with the woman no more. Go ahead.
Burned in their lust one towards another.
So men burning their lust man towards man. This thing is unnatural. God forbid. Go ahead.
Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
That meat means it's good for them. They're going to receive that lake of fire, which is good for them to get. But men with men and women with women. This thing is unseemly, it's ungodly, it's unnatural. But the Lord gave them a strong delusion. So he won't even let them turn away from this thing. Keep on reading, brother.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
So this is what happened to them. This is that strong delusion, that reprobate mind. He turned them over to it so they can do. They end up doing things that's not convenient, that's not godly, that's not natural. But this is what the Lord will do to you. See, when you start dealing with that spirit that dwells in the children of disobedience, He got something for you. So you can play around with God if you want, but He got something for you. Let's look at some people that He did this to. Let's go to 1 Kings, the 22nd chapter. First Kings chapter 22. And you know we're going to read about this king Ahab, one of the kings of Israel. But he was a child of disobedience. First Kings 22 and verse 1. 1 Kings 22 and verse 1. Come on.
And they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, came down to the king of Israel. And the king of Israel said unto his servants, Know ye that Ramoth in Gilead is ours, and we be still, and take it not out of the hand of the king of Syria.
Say, look, don't y'all know this land belonged to us? This is what the Lord gave unto our fathers, and we sitting here while the king of the Assyrians is controlling this land. Let's get this land back. Go ahead.
And he said unto Jehoshaphat, Wilt thou go with me to battle to Ramoth Gilead?
Mm-hmm.
And Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people as thy people.
He said, look, we all Israelites. You know, we one people anyway. Go ahead and read.
My horses as thy horses. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today.
So now he said, look, but before we do all this, go and see what the Lord say about it. See, that's what the servant of God do. Say, wait, let's wait on the Lord, see what the Lord say about it. Go ahead and read.
Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said unto them, Shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? So
now he gathered these 400 prophets, right? 400 prophets. If they say the same thing, then it got to be the right thing to do, right? Come on and read.
And they said, Go up, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hands of the king.
And these 400 prophets said, yeah, go ahead, go on up there. The Lord going to deliver this land into your hands. Go ahead. So it must be right? Because these 400 prophets, if it's 400 of them, they got to be right. This got to be the thing to do. Go ahead and read.
And Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides that we might inquire of him?
He said, look, Jehoshaphat, being a servant of God, he said, wait a minute. Ain't there somebody else besides these 400 guys that you got? These your prophets. Find me somebody else. Go ahead.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate him, for he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil.
He said, look, I hate this guy, because he'll never prophesy good unto me, but evil. He said, I hate this guy. But yeah, it's one more. He a prophet. Go ahead and read.
And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so.
Now, he said, no, don't say that, man. You know, don't be too much you hate him. We're supposed to be people of God, right? But this Micaiah, he was a prophet of the Most High God. The other 400 cats, they was the prophets of Ahab. So let's skip down to verse 11 and see what happened. Verse 11, go ahead.
And Zedekiah, the son of Chenanah, made him horns of iron, and he said, Thus saith the Lord, With these shalt thou push the Syrians until thou have consumed them. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the king's hands.
So they still trying to get them to go up there. They made these horns, said, you're going to push the king of Syria over here, and you're going to push him over there, and we're going to take this land back. Being all dramatic and stuff. Remind you of somebody, don't it? Being all dramatic. But Jehoshaphat, he still want to talk to Micaiah. Go ahead and read.
And the messenger that was gone to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, Behold now, the words of the prophet declare good unto the king with one mouth. Let thy word, I pray thee, be like the word of one of them.
Say, look, now, this guy, he said, look, Micaiah, all these 400 prophets have said the same thing to the king. He said, now we want you to do the same thing. Say the same thing they say. But this is the prophet of God right here. Where we at? Yeah, go ahead and read.
And speak that which is good. 14. And Micaiah said, As the Lord liveth, what the Lord said unto me, that will I speak.
He said, look, I don't care what y'all do to me. Whatever the Lord say speak, that's what I'm going to speak. Whatever the Lord say, that's what y'all going to hear. Whatever y'all want to do, y'all do it. Go ahead.
So he came to the king, and the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall we forbear? And he answered him, Go and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hands of the king.
So just like he hated Micaiah, Micaiah hated him too. So he said, yeah, go on up there, man, because Micaiah knew what was going to happen. So yeah, go ahead, go on up there. The Lord going to deliver it into your hand. Go ahead and read.
And the king said unto him, How many times shall I adjure thee that thou tell me nothing but that which is true in the name of the Lord?
So now he was being aware of the spirits. He said, wait a minute, man. How many times I'm going to tell you, I'm going to prod you to tell me nothing but the truth concerning God? How many times I got to talk to you about this? What Micaiah say to him?
And he said, I saw all Israel scattered upon the hills as sheep that have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace.
So now he told him the truth. He said that the Lord going to kill you, partner, and Israel going to be scattered upon the mountains. They ain't going to have no leader. Go ahead.
And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would prophesy no good concerning me, but evil?
He said, didn't I tell you that he was going to prophesy evil unto me, man? So I told you he wasn't going to say nothing good. But he gave you what you wanted at first, but the Lord didn't let that fly. Because the Lord loves Jehoshaphat, so he wasn't finna let Jehoshaphat be uninformed. So he had Ahab say, no, tell me the truth. So Micaiah told him the truth. Now he upset because he heard the truth that he asked for. Go ahead and read.
19. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting in his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
Go ahead.
And one said, On this manner, and another said, On that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him.
So now a spirit came before the Lord. These are all spirits that came before him, but one spirit came before him and said, I will persuade him. I don't have no doubt. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets.
So now he said, this spirit said, look, I know how to get Ahab to go up on Ramoth Gilead and die. He said, I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. This is how I'm going to persuade him. Go ahead and read.
And he said, Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets.
So now he told Ahab, so look, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these your 400 prophets. They all lying. Come on.
And the Lord hath spoken evil concerning thee. But Zedekiah, the son of Chenanah, went near and smote Micaiah on the cheek and said, Which way went the Spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto thee?
So look, so now this Chenanah, now he go, unto Micaiah, and he hit him in the jaw. So now, which way did that spirit come from? Because this is how these guys operate. They get angry when you bust them out. They get angry when you put them on Front Street. So he hit Micaiah. Go ahead and finish.
And Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see in that day when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. And the king of Israel said, Take Micaiah and carry him back unto Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son.
So now he said, look, y'all go and put Micaiah back in jail where we keep him at, so we ain't got to listen to him. Go and lock him back up. So because he prophesied evil against us. But let's see what happened. Let's see the end of the story. Let's go into 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter. 2 Chronicles chapter 18. Second Chronicles 18, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. I apologize. Verse 14. We ain't reading that yet. Verse 14. This was on your paper, right? Verse 14.
Yeah.
2 Chronicles 18 and 14. What'd he say?
And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And he said, Go ye up and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand.
So now we know we read about the same event, right? Go ahead.
And the king said to him, How many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of the Lord? Mm-hmm. Then he said, I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountain as sheep that have no shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return, therefore, every man to his house in peace.
Go ahead and read.
And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me, but evil? Mm-hmm. Again he said, Therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left hand, on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead?
So in King it said, Who may persuade him, right? This say, Who may entice him, because the Lord don't entice you to do evil, nor does he persuade you to do evil. So he said, Who can persuade this guy to go up on Ramoth Gilead and die? Who can persuade him? Because see, the Lord, he ain't the one to do it. Go ahead and read.
And one spake, saying, After this manner, and another, saying, After that manner. Mm-hmm. Then there came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? He
said, So how are you going to entice him? What can you do to entice him? How are you going to do this? Go ahead.
And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord said, Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so.
Said, look, yeah, that's going to work. Because the Lord knew Ahab just like Satan knew Ahab. And the Lord said, yeah, that's going to work. So go ahead and do it. But let's skip down to verse 31. 31. What happened?
And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, they that said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight.
So now Ahab had convinced Jehoshaphat to put his clothes on, for them to change clothes, right? So they won't know, that who Ahab is. He had Jehoshaphat dress up like him. Now I couldn't have went for that. I just couldn't have went for that. I would put on your clothes so they could think I'm you. No, I don't think so, man. I don't see how Jehoshaphat went for that. I don't understand. But he did. So now they thinking that he is Ahab, so they surround him, right? Go ahead and read.
But Jehoshaphat cried out and the Lord helped him.
Mm-hmm.
And God,
because he was still a servant of God, so the Lord helped him. Even though he did something stupid, the Lord had mercy. Start that verse over.
and it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, Is the king of Israel? It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Lord helped him, and God moved them to depart from him.
Go ahead.
For it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again and pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness.
So now they recognize, because the Lord helped them, they recognize that Jehoshaphat wasn't Ahab, but some guy just at a chance, he took a bow and he just shot it off into the crowd, and it hit Ahab. Go ahead.
Therefore he said to his chariot man, Turn thy hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day. Howbeit, the king of Israel stayed himself up in the chariot against the Syrians until the even. And about the time of the sun going down, he died. So now,
the Lord killed him anyway. Even though he tried to disguise who he was, even though those 400 prophets said, this ain't going to be delivered into your hand. But the prophet of the Lord said, your prophets, all of them are liars, and the Lord going to kill you. And this is what happened. You can't get away from God. You can't trick God. You can't hide from God. But that evil spirit, he is a lying spirit in the mouth of all those ungodly men. So Ahab had received a strong delusion that he may believe a lie. He believed this lie that he wasn't going to die. Well, maybe he didn't, because he said, Jehoshaphat, you put my clothes on them, put your clothes on, and they ain't going to know who I am. It's still amazing how Jehoshaphat went for that. I just can't fathom that. I'm going to die in your place? Oh, no, that ain't going to happen. I guess Jehoshaphat wasn't no street guy like me. So anyway, let's go and see what happened to those who the Lord is with. Well, we're seeing what happened with Jehoshaphat and with Ahab, right? One is a child disobedient. He died. The other one, servant of God, and the Lord helped him. But let's go into Job. Let's go to Job, the first chapter. Job chapter 1, and we're going to pick this up at verse 6. Job chapter 1 and verse 6. Here's another man of God. Let's see how the Lord deal with him. Job chapter 1 and verse 6. Go ahead and read.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
So now these are the angels. Say, but Satan came also among them, because he wasn't no son of God no more. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, When comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Because he's seeking whom he may devour. So he's all over the earth. He said he's going back and forth in the earth and up and down in it. See, I'm seeking whom I may devour. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job?
So you seeking somebody to devour. Have you considered my servant Job? You think you're good enough to devour him? Go ahead.
That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil.
So this one that fear God and rejects evil. Go ahead.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Doth Job fear God for naught?
Job.
Doth Job fear God for naught?
Say, do Job fear you for nothing? You always doing something for him. Do he fear you for nothing? Go ahead.
Hast not thou made an edge around him, about him, and about his horse, and about all that he have on every side?
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Say, look, you do everything for Job. Everything that he touched turned to gold. Say, he don't fear you for nothing. Say, you know, like the Lord's bribing Job with something. Well, I'm gonna give you all. If you serve me, I'm just gonna make you the richest man around. Say, that's why he's serving you. This is the game Satan trying to run on God. Go ahead and read.
But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Mm-hmm. Say, look, take all this stuff from him, and I bet you he won't keep on serving you. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord.
So now, he told Satan, everything that he owned is in your hands. It's in your power. He said, but him, you better not touch him. See, so if Satan had his own kingdom, why would he have to listen to God? Why would God be able to tell him, you better do this and you better not do that? Because he's a minister in spirit. But skip down to verse 18. Let's see what happened. Verse 18. Go ahead.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy son and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. Mm-hmm. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house.
So now they had a little get together, a little family reunion, and the wind came, must have been a hurricane or a tornado or something, and knocked the building down upon them. And they died, these Job's children. Go ahead.
And it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. Mm-hmm. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Go ahead.
Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither.
Say, look, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. He said, he was upset about it because these his babies. He said, but hey, I came in this world without nothing, and I'm going to leave with nothing. Go ahead and read.
The Lord gave, and the Lord have taken away. Mm-hmm. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
So now he didn't sin against God with his lips, right? Go ahead, brother.
In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly.
So now he didn't blame nothing on God, because that's what the foolish do. They blame it on God. I've heard them do it quite often. Even people in here blame it on God. Go ahead. Where we at?
Chapter 2.
Okay, chapter 2. We're going to pick this up. We're still in Job, and we're going to chapter 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Job chapter 2 and verse 1. So he didn't sin against God. He didn't charge God foolishly when all this stuff happened to him. We ain't read it all, but a whole lot of stuff happened to Job. He lost a lot, even his children. But go ahead and read verse 1, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Mm-hmm. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?
So look, he told Satan again, say, look, you've been going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down and seeking whom you may devour. Have you considered my servant Job? You couldn't turn him. You want to give it another shot? Because you obviously Satan doing a lot of bragging about who he didn't devour. But the Lord said you can't devour any of mine. If they mine, you can't get to them. Go ahead and read.
And still he holding fast his integrity, although he moveth me against him.
See, look, although you moveth me against him, he still hold fast his integrity. Come on.
To destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. Yea, all that a man have will he give for his life.
Said, look now, he said, skin for skin. Let me put my hands on him. He said, because all that a man have will he give for his life. He'll even give up his eternal life for this fleshly life. Say, all a man have, he'll give up for his life. Let me put my hands on him. Go ahead and read.
But put forth thy hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown.
So now he said, look, I'll let you put your hands on him. He said, you can do all you want to do to him. He said, but you can't kill him. Satan couldn't kill him. So now he smoked Job with boils from the top of his head to the sole of his feet. I can't even imagine. But go ahead and read.
And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die.
So his wife came to him and said, look, man, look at what you're going through. Look at what the Lord did to you. He said, you still going to retain your integrity? You still going to praise God? He said, look, man, curse God and die. Get it over with. And he's sitting there suffering. This is his wife now. This bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. They supposed to be one mind. She tell him, look, curse God and die. Look what he done to you. So what you owe him anymore? What Job say to her?
But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh.
Look, get out of here, lady. You talking crazy. That's what Adam should have told Eve. You better get on away from around here. But Job said, look, you speak as one of the foolish women. Go ahead.
What shall we receive good at the hand of God?
Now start that verse over.
What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil?
Mm-hmm.
In all this did not Job sin with his lips.
So look, he said, look, woman, shall we receive good at the hand of God and not receive evil? So you ain't got no understanding? So he still didn't sin against God, even though Satan moved against him, even though the Lord got out the way. Said, look, you can't turn my servant Job. See, the Lord know your heart. He know your mind. So he ain't worried about what Satan going to do to you. Because he know that you know him. Let's go into Luke the 22nd chapter. Luke chapter 22. When I mute my phone, I turn the vibrator off too. Y'all think I can hit it up here, huh? Phone's vibrating and stuff. Stiff neck. So Luke chapter 22. And because Satan, he always trying to get you, right? He tried to get to the righteous as well. It's easy for him to get to the wicked, but he tried to get at the righteous too. So like I said, he go for the easy prey first, but then he gonna turn to the strong prey or the fast prey. So Luke 22, and we're gonna pick this up at verse 31. Luke 22 and verse 31. Okay, brother.
And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat.
So he talking to Peter. He said, look, Satan has desired to have you so that he may sift you as wheat. He want to destroy you. Come on.
But I have prayed for thee that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren.
He said, look, but I pray for you that your faith fail not. Because that's a part of the armor of God, right, is faith. He said, and then when you converted, when you have overcome this, he said, then strengthen your brethren so they'll be able to overcome. Go ahead and read.
Keep going.
Oh, no, that's good. That's good. That's all, that's as far as we're supposed to go. Yeah, we ain't trying to make this long. Let's go into Psalms 34. Psalms 34. But see, Satan desires to destroy even the people of God. He don't got no love for nobody. He ain't had no love for them angels that was in heaven. He deceived them and got them cast out. They got themselves for something they can't get out of. So Psalms 34. And we're going to start reading at verse 4. Psalms 34 and verse 4. All right, brother, go ahead.
I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears.
Mm-hmm.
They looked unto him, and were enlightened, and their faces were not ashamed.
So look, he sought the Lord, and the Lord heard him, right? Say the righteous, they look unto the Lord, and they not ashamed, because the Lord going to help them. Go ahead and read.
This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles.
So look, this poor man, he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord heard him, because this is a righteous man. The Lord, his ears always inclined to hear the righteous. He always is looking for the prayers of the righteous. So when the righteous pray to the Lord, when the righteous cry to the Lord, say he hear him. And he saved you out of all your troubles. Come on.
The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them.
Say, look, the angel of the Lord, they encamped around those that fear God. Those his holy heads that he put around you, that they camp around you and they protect you. What verse you at?
8.
Go ahead.
O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him.
Say, look, say, oh, fear the Lord, ye saints, because there is no want to those that fear the Lord. There is no want. So he got his holy heads camped round about you. Even Jesus prayed for Peter. Even the Lord knew that Satan couldn't turn Job. And he protected Jehoshaphat, even though he did something stupid. He protected him. The Lord's hedges was round about Jehoshaphat. Let's go into, hold your plate, well, we coming back to Psalms, but let's go into Exodus, the 12th chapter. Because let's see how this happens. Exodus 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 21. Exodus chapter 12 and verse 21. Come on.
Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel, and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two sides posts with the blood that is in the basin. And
so he told him to kill the Passover and to put this blood over the door and on the two side posts. Go ahead.
And none of you shall go out at the door of this house until the morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians. And when he sees the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door. So
look, when he see the blood on the lintel and on the two side posts, when he see the blood, he said, then the Lord was going to pass over that house, right? Go ahead.
And will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
Said, look, and then he will not let the destroyer. Well, this is Satan. We already read all his attributes. He's a destroyer. Said he would not suffer him to come in into your house and destroy it. But you got to have yourself under the blood of the Lamb, though. So then he will protect you. He would not allow him to come in and destroy it. That's even your spiritual house.